Good afternoon. We are back again. I know last time we saw you, it was before the holidays, and I trust that today you had a great holiday. Already started off the new year, and we're up and running. We've gone through some pretty chilly weather during that time. I know we had our fireplace going at home. I hope you gathered around your fireplace as well, and even getting here to City Hall this afternoon, I see where there's some cooler weather already blowing in with some real gusto. But it's good to be back with you. We told you that we'd be on an every other week schedule again this year with our Facebook messages, and wanted to start off because we certainly were reminded during the holiday season what it was all about, and that was the giving. And the giving that we saw was absolutely incredible, but the giving also had to do with what we call our Boerne Utilities Good Neighbor Fund. This is a fund that we have available for our partner in this, Hill Country Family Services, for those less fortunate. For those during the course of the year, whether it's in the cold weather or whether it's in the hot weather, that have a struggle in paying their utility bill. There is a vetting process that goes on, and they are qualified, but that fund comes about by contributions. There are some residents of Boerne that are rounding up. Some of them are saying, look, every month when I get my utility bill, please add another $1, $5, $10, whatever you find appropriate on your utility bill. That fund has gone down just a little bit because of the needy folks in this community, and I want to encourage you for you to consider that. And just call Boerne Utilities, and they'll be able to get it set up on your account where you're contributing to this on a monthly basis. And we have the dollars there when the need is there. So thank you very much for your consideration for those extra dollars that are so needed to be able to help those less fortunate. The other thing that we took up in the November-December timeframe, which I think is a very important one. If you'll remember back in 2010, 2011, when we dedicated our new wastewater treatment plant, we set out and sold bonds for that, revenue bonds, utility revenue bonds, for $30 million at an interest rate of 4.75. One of the opportunities that a city has, a municipality has, is to be able to go and in common terms refinance those bonds when it is right for us to do that. And we had that opportunity back in December. So we were able to now refinance $26 million at an interest rate of 3.39, and we're able to sell and save for the city of Boerne over the additional years that we've got left, the 20 years that we've got left, of $4.4 million on those bonds. So thank you. It is something that our finance director, Sandy Maddock, brings to us when it is time appropriate, and we were able to take advantage of that. One of the other things that we took up in October-November timeframe, and that was our annual plan for our economic development. It is one that City Council takes a look at, staff presents it, we approve then what is 2018 going to look like in terms of economic development. And there were a number of things that came up that you've already heard about a number of times, but I want to share with you what is in that plan. One of those was certainly the mobility improvements and the recommendations from the Kendall Gateway study that many of you attended, and thank you for your input on that. But the mobility projects that are coming up, and we'll have an update on each one of those coming up next Wednesday. On the 17th of January, the Chamber is having their annual event where I will be giving you a State of the City address, and I'll have an update on those mobility projects. 46 out east of town, I-10, 46 going over I-10 from HEB over to Home Depot, and back down there on 87. So we'll have updates on each one of those. The other one was in South Boerne, or what we refer to here at City Hall as SOBO. We've got a new convention center. We should be breaking ground on that either by the end of January or the very first part of February. Next to them is a surgical center, a $10 to $13 million surgical center. So that whole area is going to be generating a great deal of economic development for the city of Boerne. We've got the construction of our new City Hall. Hopefully we're going to be breaking ground on that sometime in April or May of this year. City's Visitors Bureau, we've got the YMCA community agreement. You can already enjoy their new facilities out there on Adler Road. And the big project that we're working on now with a staff committee along with a citizen steering committee, and that is our master plan. You know, we finished up our Parks master plan. They're doing a lot of prioritizing, and we're looking at different funding on projects that were there. But now the master plan, they've gotten that along. They had a meeting this week, got another meeting coming up on the 25th, I believe, of January. And City Council will be seeing that for the first time sometime in May, with hopefully an adoption in June of this year. And then every year the EDC, along with the city and the chamber and the county, has retention visits. And that's where we're going and visiting some of our larger companies that are offering up a lot of economic development for us, dollars. We're visiting them to see what they're going to be doing, what are they doing on expansion, what things they might be asking the city or the county or the chamber to do, just trying to keep up with each one of those and let them know that they certainly are appreciated and loved during our process. And then there is that quality of life. Very important piece in our economic development plan. And this year the big thing is going to be what was a TAP program, a transportation alternative, and that's an extension of our trail system. Now, yes, I know it's dated of 2015, and we now are in 2018, and we have finally gotten there. In fact, at the last council meeting in December, we approved the contractor, the design, and the funding for that, and we're moving down the road. So you're going to see some construction on our trails. Again, that's going to include a bridge connecting the very back of our library to the trail, and we also are extending the trail from where the old museum is at City Park out there towards Cibolo Nature Center and the fairgrounds, taking a turn and heading east and going over there to the ranches at Creekside, and eventually connecting all that up, which is exciting for all of us. I started off the very beginning and talking a little bit about the weather and talking about the cold wind that we've got coming in this very afternoon. Also want to remind you that the county still has on the burn ban, and it is this cold north wind, dry north wind, that always poses a little bit of a threat. And our fire department has been called out here recently for a number of small fires that hopefully didn't even have to happen, but they did. Good news is we're here to respond to them. But remember, the burn ban's on. It's dry. All those other things exist for a real certain kind of an environment that would set us up for any kind of a fire. So, again, we appreciate so much you being with us this afternoon. I have not gotten the notice that we've had any questions, but know that that's always available to you to respond to this directly online, and we'll respond to your questions. And once you see this, if this might be later on this evening and you do have a question, don't hesitate to write us here. We'll make sure that it gets answered on our next Facebook time. Thanks so much. I look forward to a great 2018. I hope you look forward to a great 2018. Thanks to everybody for being here. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.